Welcome, everyone. We just wanted these folks to know that historic Triangle Democrats turn out. We are ready to work for you. So our little pancake breakfast with my husband, Philip and Pancakes, turned into this when Williamsburg found out you were coming. So we are thrilled to have you. I'm going to turn it over to Jess Anderson, who's going to... And I'll say one thing before Jess speaks. When somebody calls you and asks you to do what she's going to ask you to do, just say, okay, I will do it.
Hello, everybody. So hopefully everybody in the room knows I'm Jess Anderson, running for House of Delegates right here in this district, 71st. And today is about celebrating these fantastic statewide candidates that we are so excited to have at the top of the ticket. But it is also to get to work. And that is what we're going to be doing after this breakfast. So if you have not already looked to knock doors today, this is the opportunity. We are talking to like-minded voters, and it is an opportunity to have real conversations, okay? This is not about forcing votes. This is about talking to individuals that are in your community and telling them why these three people and myself are worthy of their vote, okay? This is an opportunity to build relationships and to create an environment where people know we have an election to win in November, okay? I was given the great honor of introducing my friend and future Attorney General, former Delegate Jay Jones. And I just want to say, if anybody's been paying attention, the current Attorney General, yes, boo, is nothing more than a puppet for the current presidential administration. And we deserve someone who is going to fight in the courts for Virginians. We deserve someone who is going to not back down and literally write letters to Costco. I'm going to keep talking about that. I'm sorry. We need someone who is going to do the job and have a fantastic governor and lieutenant governor by his side to do just that. So without further ado, Jay Jones.
Good morning, Williamsburg. Good morning, historic Triangle. All right. I'm just the warm-up act. You guys got to save some energy. It is so good to be back home. I hear all the Go Tribes this morning. It is filling my heart to be back in the place that helped make me the person I am today. Thank you, Williamsburg. My name is Jay Jones, and I am running to be your next Attorney General. And I am so proud to be on a ticket with Ghazala Hashmi and Abigail Spanberger. And I'm going to let you all in on a little secret this morning. We actually like each other. We actually talk to each other. We ride on a big blue bus together. And this is the last day of our statewide bus tour, and it has been such a treat to be with them all week, showing Virginia that we are a united ticket, moving in the same direction, singing from the same sheet of music to make Virginia a better place, to put people first. Now, I have been with a lot of you for a long time, so you all know that I'm just a small-town boy from Norfolk, Virginia, the son and grandson of civil rights leaders. And in the legislature with Ghazala and some other folks in this room, we expanded civil rights. We expanded Medicaid. We increased teacher pay. We raised the minimum wage, all things that are near and dear to our hearts. And as an assistant attorney general, I took on the gun lobby. We took on corporate special interests. We took on the landlords who were preying on people. We protected people all across the country. And then I sued Glenn Youngkin to protect voting rights in this Commonwealth. But you all know that these last 6 months, our Attorney General has not been doing his job. He hasn't been doing it for 3 years, but for the last 6 months in particular, he's really felt like he's got to do Donald Trump's bidding. When Donald Trump levies tariffs, he says, that's fine, even though it's going to crush Virginia's economy. When Donald Trump says, I'm going to cut federal funding that's going to impact our law enforcement, our students, our children, our healthcare facilities, our veterans, Jason let him go through. And when Donald Trump said, I'm going to attack our federal workers who make up a significant portion of our workforce all across this Commonwealth, Jason did not stand up for them. We deserve an attorney general who's going to put Virginia first. We deserve an attorney general who's going to join those lawsuits that the other 23 Democratic attorneys general have already done. All you got to do is sign your name. We deserve an attorney general who won't let people get ripped off by scammers, who won't let landlords prey on us, who won't let corporate interests run amok and jack up prices in these really challenging times. We need an attorney general who's going to go after the price gougers, who's going to go after housing discrimination, who's going to go after the corporate special interests, who's going to protect civil rights and civil liberties in this Commonwealth, including a woman's right to an abortion. You have my word that as your next attorney general, I will have your back because we will always put Virginia first. Always. And with this ticket, we will do better and you will get better because Virginia deserves better. But this is a big election because we're all running to flip seats. We are all running to make Virginia blue again. To get the governor's mansion back, to get the gavel back in the Senate, to beat Jason Miyares, and to grow our majority in the House of Delegates with Jessica Anderson and candidates all across Virginia. So if y'all are with me, make some noise, because this is our chance, and you all know that the world is watching. That the rest of the country needs us to send a signal that things can get better even in these darkest of times, in these darkest of days. The road is long, but it seems far away. The time is now, folks. Let's get this job done in 2025. Now, like I said, I get to ride on a bus with really cool people. And the person who I get to bring up next is someone who I've known for a long time. And I first met her 6 years ago when she was running to flip a seat red in suburban Richmond, or flip a seat blue. From red to blue. And people said, maybe it's out of reach, we can't really get there. But I got to hear her speak, I got to know her, and I knew that she would always put Virginia families first, she'd always put our children first, she'd always put our health care first. Ghazala Hashmi has been fighting in the General Assembly, writing the bills that have kept us safe for the last 6 years, especially in the last 3 years under these people, Glenn Youngkin and Winsome Sears and Jason Miyares. We owe her a debt of gratitude. But what is really exciting is that when you go mark your ballot for Abigail Spanberger and for Jay Jones, you get to mark your ballot for your next Lieutenant Governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia, my friend Ghazala Hashmi.
Good morning, Williamsburg. What amazing energy. It is so absolutely gratifying to step off the bus and to join all of you here today. Good morning, what beautiful faces. And let's repeat the message loud and clear. Virginia deserves an attorney general like Jay Jones, and we're going to make sure we elect him. I am State Senator Ghazala Hashmi. I have the honor of representing the city of Richmond and Chesterfield County, and I am in my second term in office, and I am the chair of Senate Education and Health as well. But before, yes, let's clap for education and health. But before I decided to run for office for the first time in 2019, I was a mild-mannered English teacher. I spent almost 30 years in higher education, the last 20 of them at Reynolds Community College. And if you know anything about English teachers, we're not mild-mannered. We're actually the people who are teaching the books that other people are trying to ban. And so we've got spines of steel, and we're ready to fight for the right cause and for the right people all the time, for everyone in our communities. And so in 2016, when Donald Trump was first elected and he ran on policies of bigotry, xenophobia, discrimination, division, I said I have to do something, especially as an immigrant, as a Muslim. I just felt compelled to speak up, to stand up, to represent so many communities that did not have a voice, did not have representation in state government or in the national politics as well. I decided to run for that Senate seat that had been in Republican hands for almost 30 years and had an incumbent in place. And a lot of people told me, Ghazala, just don't do it right now. You've never run for political office. You're an immigrant. You're a Muslim. You may not be the right kind of candidate for this Central Virginia position. But you know what I said? I said, I'm a mild-mannered English teacher. We like to get things done, and I love that challenge. And not only did we run for office, not only did we flip that seat, but we flipped it by almost 10 points. We brought in the majority into the Senate by 1 seat. We gave Ralph Northam the trifecta, and we got to work right away. We passed the ERA. We passed common sense gun safety legislation. We passed the voting rights that we enjoy now. We passed the Virginia Clean Economy Act and so many other environmental protections. And importantly, we passed that Reproductive Health Care Act that continues to protect Virginia for safe and legal abortion. So one thing we know is that Democrats are fighters. We are fighters for the issues that matter. We are fighters for the communities that seek that representation and voice. And we're going to continue to get the job done. We don't focus on division and language that just seeks to harm communities. We actually focus on the work at hand in front of us. And that's what we're going to do in 2025. This November is going to send a resonant message all across the country about what Democrats can do, what we're standing up for, what we're willing to fight for. You know, as a mild-mannered English teacher, I love grammar, and I especially like to focus on that very first word in our American Constitution, which is that powerful, inclusive pronoun that speaks to all of us, that represents all of us, and that pronoun is we. As in we the people, and we the people are stronger together. We the people are fighters together. We the people are champions together. And we the people of this Commonwealth are going to save Virginia. We're going to save the country. Let's go do this, Williamsburg. Now it's my incredible honor to introduce someone who needs absolutely no introduction to this crowd, but I just want to speak personally. You know, I was that mild-mannered English teacher watching the state politics, and when I saw Abigail step up and run for that congressional seat, I can't tell you how inspiring it was, not just to me, but for thousands of volunteers. In fact, we had so many volunteers at Spanberger headquarters that we had to say, we've got enough phone bankers. We need you to write some postcards. We need you to go knock some doors. But that's the level of enthusiasm that Abigail brought to her first run for office. It's that enthusiasm she continues to bring. You are here today because we know that we're going to make history in Virginia. We're not just going to elect the first woman as governor. We're going to elect the first Democratic woman. Give it up for Abigail Spanberger.
Hello, Triangle Dems. My friend Ghazala Hashmi, I hate to be the one to break it to you, but your cover is blown. No one thinks you are a mild-mannered English teacher anymore. Because you have worked with ferocity and focus to support the people of Virginia through your work in the Senate, and you will do an incredible job as the President of the Senate and as the Lieutenant Governor. And so many times along the campaign trail, when people have asked me about how do we react to the assault that we are seeing on Virginia, on our workforce, on our healthcare, on our food security programs, on our research dollars, on our economy, the list goes on and on. At times, my answer is, as much as I'm excited about my campaign for governor, we must elect an attorney general who will stand up every single day for Virginia and use the power of the Attorney General's office to ensure that every opportunity possible to stand up for Virginians, in some cases just to sign on to the work done by other attorneys general, that is what I know Jay Jones will do. He will have a plan starting January to ensure that the full strength of the Attorney General's office is to protect the people of Virginia and to put the people of Virginia first. And while we were so grateful to be invited to a pancake breakfast, I am so appreciative of the fact that there are no pancakes because it means the crowd got so big and the community got so engaged that we would be here all day if we were flipping pancakes for the number of people in this room. I am running for governor because I believe in Virginia. I am running for governor because I want to serve Virginia. And I grew up in a household of service. The entirety of my childhood, the focus was on service. My dad, an Army veteran and career federal agent, who also happens to be right there, the tall guy. Instilled in my sisters and me a focus on service to country. There's no higher calling than service to country, and certainly so many people across Virginia understand that call to service through military service, through public service, through federal service. And so I grew up knowing that I wanted to follow in my dad's footsteps, and first I did. First, directly as a federal law enforcement officer, I worked narcotics and money laundering cases. And then as a CIA officer, where I focused on ensuring that somebody somewhere at the Pentagon, at embassies overseas, at the White House, or on Capitol Hill, somebody somewhere had the good information necessary to make informed decisions about how to keep the American people safe. It was a mission I loved, a mission I believed in. And when we were focused on answering some of those tough questions, it was never a question of what your politics were. It was a question of what is the mission at hand and how do we do our jobs. And how do we get the results that we need? Because frankly, failure is not an option. And in 2014, after spending time overseas, we were based on the West Coast, and my husband Adam and I, he's also here, my husband Adam and I were talking with our oldest daughter, who at the time was 5, and we said, where should we go next? It was really just a teachable moment. We had a globe. We said, should we go to Kenya? Should we bid on England? Should we bid on Costa Rica? Where should we go? And our daughter said, Virginia. And we said, no. With mommy's job, we're not going to go to Virginia. Why? No. Kenya? England? Costa Rica? And our daughter said, well, why wouldn't we go to Virginia? Everyone we love lives in Virginia. Oh, so many grandparents here. Yes. And she was right. She was right. My 2 sisters, their families, my parents, my husband's 2 brothers, their families, his parents, everyone we love is in Virginia. And so I decided that perhaps it was time to pivot from service to country, the model I had grown up with watching my dad, to service to community, the model I'd grown up with watching my mother, a nurse and a volunteer in all things. And so we moved back home to Virginia. I got my employment declassified. I started a Girl Scout troop. I started volunteering with Moms Demand Action. I got a job in the private sector, and I thought that would be the path I would continue until the lead up to and the aftermath of the 2016 election, when it became clear that everything I really believed in, everything I had focused on protecting in my public service was under threat, that informed decision-making was getting eclipsed by sort of bumper sticker promises to take health care away from millions of Americans, and that the division wasn't consistent with the mission that I had served. And so I realized at that moment that if I was going to continue serving my community, it meant going back to service to country. And so I decided to run for Congress in Virginia's 7th District, a district that hadn't elected a Democrat since 1968. Yes, there's a teachable moment for the people of Virginia's 1st District in here, so wait for it. A district that hadn't elected a Democrat since 1968, a district that my predecessor had won in 2016 by 15 points. And we flipped that seat in 2018 because in every corner of our district, we talked to voters, we gathered volunteers, we made phone calls, we knocked doors, we wrote postcards, and we said, yeah, this seems like an unwinnable district, but what if it's not? Because we believe in each other, we believe in better representation and leadership, and we believe we can do it, and let's see if we can. And when I was elected, I went to Congress and I got bills signed into law by a Republican president, by a Democratic president, and I delivered results because I focused relentlessly on getting things done for the people I served, the people who had sent me to Washington. And I worked to build coalitions and deliver real results for people. And when I thought about what it is that I want to continue to do to serve the people of my district, the people of our Commonwealth, I decided to run for governor because so many of the priorities, so many of the things that impact the future of Virginia, those decisions are getting made at the state level. And everywhere I travel across Virginia, I hear from parents, from community members, from kids who want our schools to be strong, who recognize that the future of our public schools is what guarantees opportunity for the next generation. And as governor, I want to work to put Virginia on path towards having the strongest public schools in the entire country, where we demonstrate leadership on how to contend with the challenges we are facing of teacher shortages and teacher retention, where we respect our educators and pay them more and ensure that in our classrooms, our kids are getting every opportunity to pursue success, whether they're headed off into a career or off to college. And in every corner of Virginia, no matter where I go, I hear people's worries about the real impact of this moment in time, issues of affordability in housing, in healthcare, and in energy bills. And we have rolled out my affordability agendas for housing and healthcare and energy because I know at this moment we need a governor who's not just grandstanding talking about issues, but is actually ready and planning to govern. And when I first announced that I was running for governor in the before times, back in 2023, my focus was on all of the things I want to do for Virginia, all of the policies I want to move forward, and all of the results I believe are possible that we can deliver in Richmond. But since January of 2025, it has been clear that we, in addition to having a governor with a clear vision for how we move Virginia forward, how we lead on issues of lowering costs, how we lead on issues of strengthening our public schools, we need a governor who will stand up for the people of Virginia. When there are more than 320,000 Virginians whose jobs are under threat by the current administration, we need a governor of Virginia to stand up for those individuals, for their service, and importantly, for the strength of Virginia's economy. When we see a Republican Congress looking to strip health care away from hundreds of thousands of Virginians and put some of our hospitals on a one-way path towards closure, we need a governor to stand up and say and name the impact on Virginia and stand up for Virginians. When we see the chaos of trade policy that is impacting everybody from the folks when we go into the stores to small, medium, large-sized businesses and our farmers and producers across Virginia, we need a governor who will stand up for Virginia. And the reality, thank you, the reality is in this moment, not only can we stand up for Virginia, not only can we put our fellow Virginians first, not only can we pursue good policy when we start governing in January, but we can set an example for the rest of the country. Because in 2025, it's just Virginia and New Jersey. And in 2025, it's just Virginia that has the opportunity to flip a seat. A statewide seat. And we don't just have the opportunity to flip a statewide seat. We have the opportunity to flip 3 statewide seats. We also have incredible candidates running in all 100 House of Delegates seats. We've heard from Jess Anderson. We know that Dr. Mark Downey is gonna flip a seat. And you all are here because you recognize the importance of this election. And so I will say this, thank you for being here. Thank you for coming out to hear from us. Every day there is a new motivation for us to work hard. That's my euphemism for terrible things on the news. Every day there is a new motivation for us to work a bit harder. I'm so lucky because I have a highly motivating opponent. And the motivation that drives us needs to be clear because when we flip these 3 statewide seats, when we flip more seats in the House of Delegates, we will send an example to our friends and our neighbors, certainly across Virginia, but also to the rest of the country. And while it can be exhausting that we have elections every single year in Virginia, this year we are lucky because we get to go to the polls this November. We get to stand up for Virginia. We get to put our fellow Virginians first this year, and we get to set an incredible example for the rest of the country. And for me, what motivates me, in addition to all of the motivating things happening in the world, is the very real reality, or the very real idea, that if ever there is a little girl anywhere who tells her parents that she wants to move home to Virginia, I want there to be a house that they can afford in the community where they want to live. I want her parents to have a job opportunity that will sustain them and their family. I want her to be welcomed into a school where her educators and her teachers are well paid and respected by their governor, where she is safe within those walls, where her rights are respected within her commonwealth, where the resources around her are protected for their natural beauty and the cleanliness of their water and their air, where the community is welcoming and understanding that our differences and our vibrancy is in fact the strength that we bring as Virginians to our Commonwealth and the growth of the place that we call home. And so for me, that is what drives me every single day, ensuring that that is the Virginia that I don't just believe is possible, but the Virginia that we are working to make possible. We will win in November, and we need all of you to do it. So thank you for being here. Let's continue to do the work, because at the end of the day, we will get to govern come January, and that's what it's all about.